What's up, everyone? My name is Rad, and I am here today bringing you my guide on Fischl for 2023. I'll be going over her skills, talents, constellations, recommended weapons, artifact sets, and team compositions. I'll also give you my overall thoughts on her near the end of the video. I'm going to make all of my character guides as concise as possible, so we're looking at hopefully under 10 minutes for each one. Without further ado, let's drop that transition. So, talents are up first. Bolts of Downfall, this is just her normal attack. Elemental skill, Knight Rider, this summons Oz, Fischl's Raven. Once summoned, he deals AoE damage within a minuscule area. During this time span, he will continuously attack nearby enemies. Can press Elemental skill again to reposition Oz nearby Fischl, or hold for a more precise location. Elemental Burst, Midnight Phantasmagoria. Fischl calls upon Oz and takes his form. In this form, her movement speed increases. Any nearby enemies that she comes in contact with are dealt electro damage. Enemies only can be struck once. Once effects conclude, Oz will remain on the battlefield and continue to attack enemies. If Oz is already present, then this resets his duration of his current summon. Alright, passive talents. Stellar Predator. When Oz is on the field, if Fischl strikes Oz with a fully charged aim shot, Oz will deal 152.7% AoE electro damage based on the arrow's damage. Undone by the Sinful Hex. If the character currently active on the field triggers a electro charge elemental reaction while Oz is on the field, the opponent will be struck by thunder that deals equal to 80% of Fischl's attack. And this last one, self-explanatory. Constellations. Just some quick words. Constellations are not an absolute necessity for characters. They mainly just provide quality of life improvements and better enhance skills, bursts, or utility. Yes, some do get wild power spikes, I understand, but every character is viable in some way or form, even with no constellations. Just have fun with who you like and play how you want. Now, honestly, all of Fischl's constellations are great. I'll be skipping C3 and C5 as they only add 3 levels to her skills. C1, Gaze of the Deep. Oz is able to attack when not present and deal joint attacks that deal 22% of Fischl's attack damage. C2, Devourer of All Sins. Knight Rider dishes out an extra 200% attack as damage, and the AoE is increased by 50%. C4, her Pilgrimage of Peak. Similar to C2, except Midnight Phantasmagoria deals 222% of attack as electro damage in an AoE. When skill ends, Fischl recovers 20% of her HP. C6, Evernight Raven. Oz's summon duration increases by 2 seconds. Oz also attacks the current enemy, dealing 30% of Fischl's attack as electro damage. Now, weapons. Quick note, I don't have all the weapons as I took an extended break from Genshin Impact from 1.5 through 2.6, but I have done my research on weapons, so I'm comfortable with providing these recommendations. I will only be recommending her best overall in my opinion. I understand some players might not have these, but it's totally alright. If you're free to play or a light spender and what you currently have works for you, then keep that until you come across a future upgrade. Overall, for 5 stars, Skyward Harp provides great crit rate up to 20% at level 90. Passive provides crit damage. Next, Polar Star provides excellent crit rate up to 33% at level 90. First part of passive provides damage to elemental skills and burst damage. Next, Hunter's Path provides godly crit rate up to 44% at level 90. First part of passive provides 12% to all elemental damage. Lastly, Aqua Simulacra provides insane crit damage. Second half of passive provides damage boost even all field, but gotta make sure you keep the passive active as possible. I would only recommend if you can get high crit rate passively through artifact minor affixes. As for 4 stars, honestly, just the Stringless provides damage to her elemental skill and burst. If you do plan a physical Fischl, then I would recommend Rust or Compound Bow, possibly Skyward Heart, but even then, physical Fischl, while great, I think she works better as a sub DPS, which I'll be talking about next up in the artifact sets. Artifact sets. With most of the weapons being crit rate dominant, the best 5-star artifact pairings for her are 2-piece Thundering Fury with either 2-piece Gladiator's Finale or 2-piece Shimenawa's Reminiscence. I highly recommend this pairing as accessibility and mix and matching is much easier compared to a 4-piece set. If running a Dendro team composition, then I would recommend Gilded Dreams or good old reliable Thundering Fury. Main affixes to look for are attack percentage on the Sands of Aeon or elemental mastery depending on artifact set and team composition, electro damage on the Goblet of Eonatham, and crit rate or crit damage on the Circular of Logos. Minor affixes to look for are crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, energy recharge. Also aim for a 1 to 2 crit rate, crit ratio. Example, if you have 50% crit rate, then aim for 100+% crit damage. I understand not everyone will have the ideal or even perfect stats for artifacts. In some cases, it is much better to run a combination of mixed artifacts that provide better stats. I'd rather run a 4-piece Maiden Beloved with overall great stats as opposed to a 4-piece set that has unbalanced stats. It's totally fine, nothing wrong with that. You will eventually get the ideal or perfect artifacts within due time. Moving on, team compositions, Electro Charge. Any combination of 2 Electro and 1 Hydro user. 4th slot can be your choosing. This composition excels in taking out multiple enemies. Super Conduct. Any combination of 2 Electro and 1 or 2 Cryo. This composition provides raw damage to physical based damage users. Overload, don't really recommend unless it's a singular big target. Smaller enemies go flying around too much, thus more running and less DPS. But here's an example. Next, 2 Dendro combinations. First up, Quicken and Aggravate. Any combination of 2 Dendro and 2 Electro. This reaction adds a flat damage bonus to a character's attack. And then we have Hyper Bloom. I would highly recommend 2 Dendro, 1 Electro, and 1 Hydro. You can mix and match these pairs depending on what you feel you might need more of. This reaction deals single target Dendro damage, has a 3x multiplier as well. Both Dendro team compositions are great, though Aggravate is much easier to accomplish while Hyper Boom requires 3 elements. I'm not saying what characters are best because 1, it's dependent upon how your summons have gone and who you have summoned for. Not everyone will have all the characters. 2, Fischl is a universal unit in that you can pretty much slot her in any team composition and she will shine. 3, like I mentioned earlier, play with who you want and how you want. It's about enjoying yourself and having fun at the end of the day. Alrighty then, so what are my final thoughts on Fischl? Fischl is a beloved Genshin Impact character. Since the inception of Genshin Impact, she has been an absolute staple in my opinion. Plays her role incredibly well. She's powerful, reliable, and can be slotted anywhere. If you get her, I highly recommend to build her. Definitely worth the investment for now and in the long term. Well, that's it. Hopefully I did well in providing solid information within a condensed amount of time. I enjoyed this one especially because it's Fischl, one of the characters I enjoy the most to use. I'll be doing more of these kind of videos for other characters as time goes by, mainly 4 stars since they are more accessible compared to 5 stars. But thanks to those who watch this throughout. If you enjoyed or disliked today's video, you can either drop me a like or a dislike. I'm always open to constructive criticism. Also, if you like, press the subscribe button to keep up to date with the future content. Would appreciate that. Anywho, I'm Rad. You're all awesome. See you later.